Hello, this is Kate from Kate's Crafting Corner. It is the last Tuesday in September. I'm not quite sure the date because I forgot to look. And I am coming with a very overdue video. Our life has been crazy this past summer. And so this has basically been the first chance I've had to come and chat with you and catch up. I'm filming this. My husband for my birthday gave me a kind of tripod-y situation with the bendable legs, and so I'm hoping to be able to figure out how to set it up in a way that I can do a stitch with me where you can see my stitching. Also because the way I do parking is a little bit different than most tutorials I've ever seen, and I've been wanting to film how I do parking. So I'm hoping to figure out a way where I can get the tripod to be dangling over my stitching. I don't know how you guys do it who do stitch with me. If you know how to do that or have a suggestion, if you could leave a comment on how I could set this up, because I honestly have no clue. But it is a plan of mine to sometime figure that out really soon. But anyways, so it's been a super crazy busy summer. I guess I'll do some life updates now. My whole desk is covered with things to show you. This is going to be an all crafts episode because I don't have the time right now to film separate ones, and one of the things that happened is I got sick for a month. I had basically all the symptoms of COVID, but I tested negative like 3 or 4 times. So it wasn't COVID, it was just a really bad cold, but I have asthma, so I always develop bronchitis when I get sick because I get a buildup in my throat and it develops into a croup cough, and it takes forever to go away. This is how I've always been since I was a baby, and it is how it is now. Sometimes if I can catch it early enough, I can take enough medicine to like mitigate it, but that didn't work this time. So I was sick for about a month, the whole month of September, and like the last week of August. So that was not great. And then the other big thing is, well, I mean, actually there's a big thing, but the other kind of big thing is that my family from out of the country visited this summer here in California. My youngest sister, she just turned 21 on September 2nd. So if you watch this, Alex, happy birthday. It was a while ago and I was there, but whatever. She moved back from, my parents live and work in Singapore, and she had been living there because she could stay there till she was 21, and she's been there 10 years, I think, so I mean, it was like home for her. So she enrolled in a hairdressing school. Is that how it's called? A hairdressing school there. So during the last year of the pandemic, she took lessons and did that, and now she's moved back to, well, actually, she's never lived in America. She was born in West Africa when my parents were missionaries in West Africa. Then they moved to Singapore, and so she lived there. So this is actually the first time she's living in America, but she's visited. But anyways, so she's moved to Fresno. She's enrolled in Paul Mitchell, and she just started at the beginning of this month. And so I'm really excited for her. She cut my hair. She said to me, "I'm cutting your hair and you don't have a say in the matter." I didn't even get to tell her how she cut it shorter than I wanted. But it needed to be done. I tend to only get my hair cut like once a year because I prefer my hair long, and so I just don't get it cut very often. And so so she cut my hair. She did a fantastic job, gave me some layers. She tried to talk me into some bangs, but the problem is that I've done bangs several times, And within a few days, I'm always just wrapping them and bobby clipping them because they just irritate me. And so she didn't do bangs, but anyway, she did a great job. And I've said a lot. That's not good. So yeah. So, and then my sister, who married a German, and then last year she moved to England, she and her son and her husband, and she's studying at university there, British history, I believe is what she is studying. And she came and visited, and this is the first time I've seen her since my wedding 3 years ago. And so it was so good to see her. It was so good to see my nephew and spend some time with them. So basically every weekend this summer was taken up. Either we went to Fresno or they came up here and things like that. Alex came and stayed with me for a couple of weeks. And then my sister Johanna, who used to live in Fresno, her husband's in the Navy, and they got restationed to up in this by Seattle, Whidbey Island. So I got to see her for the first time in about 1.5 years, I think. And yeah, it was just really good to like have the whole family together again. First time since my wedding. It doesn't get to happen because we're spread out so much across the globe. And so it was really, really nice. And so that I didn't have time to film. The other really exciting thing that happened is a few days ago, Gracie had a litter of puppies. Let me go see if one is awake so I can bring one over and talk to you about the puppies. Look, this has a remote, so I can just press it and it will stop, and then I can press it again and it will start, and I'm so excited. It's so cool. Okay, the others were asleep, but this one was awake, and Gracie has now come to monitor me. So this is Teddy. Say hi, Teddy. He is, how old are you now? 4 days? 5 days old? 4 days old, I think. Yeah, 4 days old. See, I didn't think they were due until about today. So we were scheduled Friday. Come on, Gracie. Come here. You want to come here? See, he's okay. We were scheduled Friday at 11:30 to get her x-ray to find out how many puppies she was expecting. Friday at 5:27, she decided to have the first puppy. And that was Teddy, actually. And when he was born, I was like, well, first of all, she gave her first indication she was possibly in labor around like 2:30. And so they came really fast. Okay, I'll put you back. But anyway, so she gave her first indication that she was in labor around 2. But in the past, it's been a while from her first indication to her getting puppies. So I was just like praying that she'd not have them until after we got in the x-ray, because knowing how many puppies you're expecting is so important. Yeah, it's so important. And so she had the first one, and then and it was a boy, and I was like, oh great, we've already had so many boys. This is just gonna be a whole other thing of boys. But much to my surprise, Teddy was followed by 4 girls. And so I named them after little women. So we've got Teddy. Lori is what most people call him, but Joe called him Teddy. And then we've got Meg. We've got Joe, but we call her Josie because my sister Johanna we call Joe, and so it just confusing too many Joes. And then I realized that my aunt's cat is named Josie, but I'd already named the dog Josie, so it was kind of like, ooh, 2 Josies. So it's actually not less confusing, but oh well. Then we've got Beth, and I think my husband calls her Betty, and she might just get nicknamed Betty. And the last one is Amy, who is the largest of them. But so the 5 of them were born within an hour and a half, which is the smoothest delivery that we've been through yet. If you've been following for a while, this is Gracie's 4th litter. Probably her last. I've said on Instagram it's her last. However, we were doing some research and you can do like 4 to 6 apparently. And it just always tugs at our heartstrings because I love the little babies so much. I really do just love them so much. And so we were like, oh, I don't know, do we do another litter? This one went so smoothly, an hour and a half, all 5 of them survived this time. If you've been following for a while, you know in the last 2 litters we lost a puppy each time. They got stuck in her birth canal. And this was just so smooth. And even though they're crying right now, they're normally never crying. This is the most easygoing litter that we've had yet. They just, one of them might actually have gone. This is Amy. And she's the biggest. She's almost doubled her weight already. And they're already starting to get their nose a little darker. And the paws are turning black as well, which is always so fast how they develop. I love them so much. I really do. Oh my gosh, I love them. I cannot keep them. My husband would for reals kill me. Like, he already let me keep them. Yeah, so she had all of them within an hour and a half. We still took her to get x-rayed because I didn't know if that was all of them, and I thought I felt another one in there. Turns out I was wrong. But yeah, such a smooth delivery. She's been fantastic. My only complaint with Gracie at present is she is way territorial about food. Like, she'll even let the other girls, Lily and Rosie, look at the puppies. But if you get near the food dish, she is a vicious monster. It's not great. Because she is possessive of all the food bowls, not just the one that's in with her. If she even hears another dog eating something, she is on the attack. And she's a wild thing. But anyways, so yeah, everything has gone so well, and we're just really happy. We haven't rehomed them yet. We haven't like found homes for them yet. So hoping that all of that goes smoothly. It's gone smoothly every other time. So, you know, they're still in their not as cute phase. I think they're cute. My husband says they're not cute until 5 weeks, but I think they're so cute. But yeah, so they're just bringing me a lot of joy right now. And yeah, I love them. So that is the other big life update. I will get into, well, I might as well finish the life update since I started this. So crazy summer, family visit, sick, Gracie puppies. Oh yeah, the other thing. My husband is running for the school board, so that is taking up a lot of time for him. He isn't having me do as much of the campaigning stuff that he does. So like right now he's at a campaign event and I'm here not at a campaign event, which is nice. Selling oneself, I guess, promoting oneself is very difficult for me. I find it awkward and hard, and he does that just fine. So he hasn't indicated that he would like me to be attending more of these things with him, so that's good. But yeah, so that's the big thing that we're doing this fall for the elections. There are 4 people running and 3 positions open in our school district. So hopefully he'll have a decent shot. 2 are incumbents though, so it's kind of like the 2 non-incumbents vying for 1 position most likely. So we'll see how that goes, but I'm hoping for the best. I have been helping him with his website a little bit and his Facebook, so that's what I've been up to for that. Oh, while they were visiting one time, my dad broke my yarn my scrap yarn storage container. I'd been looking for years for the perfect thing, and we found one I really liked at Home Goods last year. And I was so happy and excited about it, and then my dad accidentally broke it. So we went to Home Goods again. They didn't have the same container, unfortunately, but we got another, well, actually I got 2 containers. And I will pop in a picture of what they look like, and I think they might actually work better for what I want. The other ones had a design on it that looked really pretty, but it also obscured kind of the look of the yarn in there. And this one just makes it so that these scrap yarns are more of a feature of it, like a decoration feature. And so I'm really happy with what we found. And I got a smaller one that I can put my cotton yarn scraps from dishcloths. And so I'm excited to have a container one container for the cotton yarns and another container for my fingering weights. I don't really work with other weights, so I don't really have a need for a container for those scraps. So, oh, the other big thing this summer is we've had James and Sam, our 2 other boys besides Georgie. They were both fixed. So, James was fixed in June, Sammy in the beginning of July, and Gracie got pregnant at the end of July. So everything was copacetic there. There's no possible crossover. But yeah, we do have Georgie scheduled to be fixed in January, the beginning of January. And the reason is I didn't want to deal with little puppies and a healing dog. It was very hard to keep Sammy and James calm and not playing. And so I don't want that element with Georgie on top of the little puppies. And the section of our house where we have them sleep while they're healing and everything is also where we have the puppies. I just have them in here right now because it is still hot in California. Earlier this month, it got up to 116 Fahrenheit, which is hot. And our AC broke this summer, our central AC, at the beginning of the summer. And my husband got me a portable AC unit. And that has been only saving grace for summer heat for me. When it was hot was also when I was sick. And I just blew up an air mattress and slept in here the whole time because it didn't get cool enough in the evenings to be able to sleep out in the bedroom. And so I basically lived in this room, and that probably also prolonged my cold because of the air conditioning. My husband then got me this Arctic cooler. It's because my other Arctic cooler broke, like the fan blades just broke. It was really weird. But we thought if we put some moisture into the air, that would help. And it did. It really did. Because I gotten to the point where I was basically just coughing up some blood and other nasty stuff. And we thought it was because I was really dried out. And so if we put some moisture into the air, that would help. And it did. So that helped. Sorry, that was probably TMI. I'm not great about recognizing the TMI line, but sorry. Clearly I haven't really had people to talk to, so I'm just oversharing. But yeah, so I run so it's still getting into the 90s and high 80s. So for an hour or two in the late afternoon, I run the AC in here. And because it's been so hot, well, I mean, probably like high 80s in the house, mid to high 80s, that Gracie will go downstairs and lay on the tiles. And so when I brought the puppies in here, and I put this tablecloth over the thing to block direct air from going onto them, but they'll get a cooler breeze. But she'll stay in there with them and much happier and not leave to go find cool places. And so that's been helpful, and also helpful for me because I don't deal well with heat. But so yeah, that's what's happening with that. Okay, I don't know if I told you guys that I signed up for this thing called virtual challenges, and it's where you walk and then you get a medal when you win, when you go so many miles. And so they had a Lord of the Rings series, and I splurged on that, and I got the whole series, and I finished the Shire virtual event. And so now I'm on the second one, but I keep forgetting to wear my Fitbit. But so they sent me the medal for this one, and I thought I would share that with you because it is so cool looking. I mean, look at that. And then this is the medal itself. So it's like the letter, keep it secret, keep it safe. And then you can open it, and there's a little ring inside, and the ring comes out. It's so cool. Oh my gosh. I love it so much. I can't wait to keep going, to get more miles, to finish the next one. The next one is like 500 miles though, so it's gonna take a while. And if I would wear my stupid Fitbit, it would go faster. The thing is, I was winding a ball of yarn, like winding like this, and it counted all those as steps. So I got some fake miles, but then I forget to wear it, so I figure it like evens out in the end. The other cool thing I've discovered recently is salt and vinegar almonds. Oh my gosh, these are so good. These are so good. And that means that I don't eat the chips. Instead, I'll eat some of those. And so yeah, so it's a little bit healthier. And then I've lost about 10 to 15 pounds, which I'm so excited about. This is the lowest I've weighed since college, and I'm still trying to lose more weight. I am on a medication now for my diabetes that, sorry, that one of the benefits of it is that it does help with weight loss. One of the negative side effects is that it gives me extreme fatigue. So I'm constantly tired. I'm sleeping a lot, like a lot. Yeah, I'm sleeping a lot. And so, but it's better than the medication he took me off of, which just made me throw up. Every time I would take it, I would throw it up. And so I can deal with being tired. Don't love it, but I can deal with that. But I am glad to be losing some weight. So yeah, now that we've talked for like 20 minutes, and I will put some timestamps in so you can skip, let's get on with what I've been working on. I will start with cross stitch, and I'm going to try to do all of cross stitch, like stash and plans all together. So if that's all that you're interested in, you can stop at the end of that and not have to like skip ahead to find the plans section for the cross stitch or anything like that. Or you can watch the knitting section too if you want. But anyways, so I've worked on 8 projects, and this is not in any particular order, just as I pull them out. So the first one is I'm not going to put in before pictures because honestly scrolling back through 4 months of pictures to find things is just more time consuming than I have time for right now. Is Main Street Sal, and I worked on the bookshop one, and I did really a lot of progress on this. maybe 800 stitches, I think, possibly 1,000. But so I did like all the yellow, I think I did the purple, maybe the white. Yeah, I did do the white. I did the grass border here. So I worked on this for like 2 days straight, and I honestly didn't want to put it down, but I had other things I needed to do. But this really reignited my love of Country Cottage Needleworks, and I think I would be further along on those cottages of the month if it wasn't, like, if it was on fabric I like better, like this one. I really like this. Did I leave the tag on? It's on the called for fabric. It's an even weave. Star Sapphire, but I did 28 count and I didn't do the linen. I did the even weave. But yeah, so I'd already finished the first one, and now I finished the second. Well, no, I didn't finish the second one, but I'm getting close. And yeah, I'm really, really enjoying this project. And I have all of them. So, not like that Santa's Village where I'm missing some. By some, I mean all of them. I have no clue where they are. Probably in storage. Okay, the one well, I don't know if I did most of this work since I talked to you guys or not. I should have watched my last video again. But Afternoon in London is really close to a finish. Here's what it will look like in the end. I figured out how to do a zooming thing when I'm editing, so I don't have to put it quite so far. I can do that. But so I am over here, which is, I mean, I have to finish the telephone booth and this design, this motif, and I think a cloud over here, and then I will be done, which is really exciting. So I'm hoping next time I do an update, which I'm hoping will only be in a week or so, that I will have finished this. Oh, I don't think I didn't show this. This was one of my birthday, either birthday or anniversary presents from my husband. And he got me a personalized cross-stitch bag. Now, the only negative thing I will say, this is from Sherry So Sweet. The only negative thing I will say about this is I did think that the monogram was on the plastic, but it's not. So you only ever get to see your personalization when your bag's empty. So that kind of sucks. I wish it would have been like that, or even if the fabrics, I don't know that I would have wanted, but even maybe if the fabrics haven't switched, but that's okay. This is a really well-made, high-quality bag. I have another bag from her too. I think, is it, no, that's another one. I don't know where it's at the moment. Oh, I think it's over there. I think it's an Anna Green Gables one. But yeah, and I have several others on my wish list on Amazon. So definitely check her out. She makes great quality bags. I just kind of wish that the personalization had been on the fabric. I mean, not the fabric, on the plastic, so that I could have seen it. Or could still see it better. Because like seeing with the project in there, you don't see it at all. But that's okay. And then it comes with this really nice zipper pull. Ooh. So I will try to remember to link the shop in my description down below. I've been trying to get more detailed information there. I was supposed to do 2,100 stitches on this. I promised my sister I would do 2,100 because she's turning 21. And so I said, I'll do 2,100 stitches this month. But then I got so sick that I just couldn't stitch or anything. And And then the queen passed away, and I watched coverage nonstop for at least 10 days. And so I was able to knit, but I couldn't stitch during that time. But so this is the Dressmaker's Daughter by Mirabilia. And so I made some decent progress. I'd probably say maybe 1,200 stitches. So I finished all of the purple background on this side, and I started going on this side. So my plan is to finish all of the purple background, and then I may do the back stitching. So there's quite a bit of back stitching on the background of this one. But I haven't decided yet. I really wanted to put this on my floor stand, and I tried, but it kept slipping off the bars. And so, and also there just isn't enough room on the top and bottom to really make it doable. So that kind of sucked, but this is really slippery fabric. If I were to do it again, I probably would choose something else, but I'm not restarting this one at this point. So, sometime soon I will owe Alex an extra 1,000 stitches on that. Next one I worked on is Gloria from Mill Hill, and I was working on beading, and so I think I probably did about 200 beads. It's hard to tell, it's hard to capture it in the camera, but I've got a decent amount still to go. But I am hoping to either finish this one or Afternoon in London this month. So I only have a few days. So that I can count that for the detention, a project that's already started, and the Harry Potter Knitting and Crochet group on Ravelry. And it can be a cross stitch finish. My plan is to use a cross stitch project for each of the detentions and try to finish something up. So that one or Afternoon in London is my plan, and I actually need to get going on that. Next we have map of Rohan and Gondor. So this is all in one color, and the lighter brown is the fabric. And so I am stitching that on some brown Aida. I am at like 6.5% complete, which is actually much farther than I thought I was at. But I really do love working on this one. It's nice for some brainless stitching because it's just one color. Everything's one color. And so that is where I am at. I need to find one of my Lord of the Rings, because I have a lot of Lord of the Rings needle minders, and I'm using a Winnie the Pooh one. That doesn't even make sense. I think I started it in my craft room. I had the Winnie the Pooh one in my craft room, and most of my needle minders are downstairs on my craft cart in the TV room. And so I don't think I've worked on this down there. I did buy a 100-gram cone of the DMC that I'm using. I don't think I'm using that color. What color am I using? The called for color is 3787, and I'm using 3371. To me, it just suited it better. My friend More did, I think there's a different map, which I also have, but I haven't started yet, and that's the color she did it in, and I thought that looked really good, so I copied her. And yeah, this is a Christmas project bag because, you know, I choose bags that make sense. Next we have Evening in the Shire, and I would be done with the cross stitching on this, but when I picked it up to work on it, I realized I had made a counting error. And I was trying to figure out if I could get away with not frogging. I still haven't fully decided yet, but you know, the discouragement of having counted wrong slowed me down. My error is over here, and so this is where I'm at on that. After I'm done with the cross stitching on this, there is a ton of back stitching. Let me see if, yeah, I do have the cover art. So a lot of back stitching. So I will decide at a later date if I need to frog or not, but I'm thinking I might need to. Ugh, frustration. Next we have Token of Love. This is a Quaker. And I'm thinking of doing this for my Aunt Hilda. Before COVID, my husband and I were planning on going to South Africa a lot earlier. And I asked her if she would like me to make her something, because I'd made something for my granny. I'd made something for my Aunt Deirdre, but I hadn't made something for my Aunt Hilda. And she said like a cross stitch pattern in red would be nice. And this is one I had started previously, but I'd stopped working on it because I think the color bled a little bit. But I finally decided that I don't think that that's going to be a big deal. Anyways, so I started again and I was working on this motif. And honestly, I don't know how much I did because this is one I worked on at the beginning of summer. We were going to try to hope to get there this fall, but it's just not going to work out. I don't think. Just with running for the school board, and we're behind on personal things we needed to get done. Like I need to get my passport changed to my married name, and he needs to apply for his passport, and we just are procrastinators and we haven't done that. And so I don't think we're gonna make it this fall, but we do need to go soon because, you know, Granny's not getting younger, as much as I hate to say that. Okay, so this one is the color expansion of Christmas Mailbox. This is like my third or fourth time starting this project, the first time for the color expansion. But I don't know if you guys have heard about Royal Rose. It's going around the internet or the cross stitch community. And so I really wanted to try that method, and so I decided to start this one and do it. And that's how far I got. There's like 5 colors in there. There's definitely more definition to the sky than when it was all completely one color, which still honestly kind of ticks me off because I paid for that pattern and it really was just lazy charting. And I am sorry, I know lots of good things about Michelle, but that is honestly just lazy charting to make a sky completely one color across an entire row of pages. It's just lazy. I'm sorry, it is. And so I did end up buying the color expansion, but I've still kind of been holding this grudge in my head because of that. But so yeah, I decided to restart it. I will say I am getting some grooves on each of the 10 by 10 sections. I think you can even see them there. Yeah, jeez. I'm hoping it comes out in washing, but when I'm completely honest with myself, I'm aware that there's probably a good chance I never finish a Haid. And so I'm just gonna enjoy the process and not worry about those other details. Like, you know? And so I did put this one on my cross stitch stand, and I really enjoyed working on it like that. So, okay, I'm back. The problem is that Gracie has a couple deformed nipples, and she also doesn't have enough. She was born with 9. 2 are underdeveloped, and then 1 or 2 were actually inverted, but over the last couple of litters they came out, they've now popped out, and now they will produce milk. But this litter keeps on trying to latch to the 2 underdeveloped non-milk producing ones, and so then they whine, and so then you have to move them to the ones that actually are giving milk. And so that's what had happened. And then naturally the neighbors' dogs came outside and started barking, so mine started barking. So anyways, so those are my cross stitch whips. So now I'm going to talk about some stash and some plans. So, oh, okay, actually no, first I'm going to mention 2 non-cross stitch, some sewing whips. And so 2 of the main projects I worked on in the month of July and some of June, the end of June I guess, is I work with the young women in my church, and they have a girls camp every summer, and every summer it's got a different theme, and this year's was board games or something like that, and the one that we had was Clue, the game Clue. And so the girls wanted a playable Clue board game tablecloth, and they asked me to do it and to make it, and someone had special ordered the fabric that had all of like the game pieces and everything like that. And I swear I have spent less time on full-sized quilts than I spent on this stupid game board. I've never ripped so many seams out. It is honestly, I'm supposed to have had it back by now, but because I've been sick and out of town, I haven't gotten it back. So I'll put in a couple pictures I took of it. But yeah, I probably spent about 80 plus hours on this game board. I designed it from my own head. It was a nightmare. I'm glad the girls loved it, but it was a nightmare. So I had sewn all of this together, and I was going to sew on this row to connect it up. That's when I discovered that these rooms are actually 1.5 squares. So I had to go and rip out these seams on each side. Then I made a 3 square strip, but 2 wide because I needed it to be 2 wide. And then I folded each of them down the middle and cut off the extras. So these are definitely smaller than all the other squares, but that's just what I had to do. So then I continued, did this patch, got that connected, disconnected here, did the same thing here. Now this is going to be the same as down here, which is that it's half of a square longer. So I'm just gonna, well, I don't actually know what I'm gonna do, because this is perfect with this. So I don't know if maybe I'll just cut off to the word haul and just let it go at that. I haven't decided yet, but yeah, ends being a big pain in the butt, way more effort than I had wanted. And I think I'm gonna have to sew a bit of brown on either side of this one to make them connect. Then I gotta do this side where this is a 3-piece side instead of this one should be facing this way instead of a 4, so there's a different amount of math to work. Anyways, so it's way more stressful than I had anticipated, but that is, so my plan is kind of to work them in 3 segments. So once it cools down a bit, because I can't run the AC and my iron at the same time, so once it cools down a bit more, I'm gonna finish this right here. So just do another segment here, get these attached, and then I'll have this whole strip done. Then I'm gonna do the middle strip, and I think what I'm gonna have to do here is the same thing where I sew a 2x3 on, center it, and then cut, and then do that on the other end and make this a whole thing, and figure out, I think I'm gonna have to add some extra brown at each end of that to make it work, so have to do that. And then I will do the last segment, and then I will sew those together, and hopefully there will be no more drama. But yes, it's way more stressful than I had anticipated. But look at this, I've squared them up pretty good. I mean, there's a little error there, but I squared them up pretty good, if I do say so myself. So pretty proud of that fact. Well, I have to rip out yet another seam, as when I attached this whole block, I lost the patterning. So you can see it meets, and then somewhere along this strip it gets off course, as it should meet up like that, or actually one more down or something like that, like this, I think. I don't know. So I have to rip out this seam, add some brown, figure out how to make it meet, and then continue on. But the other thing I did is they have a camp store, and every day they are given so many camp credits that they can spend in the camp store. And the camp store is stocked with things that people donate. And so I made probably about 60 to 70 scrunchies and donated them to the store. These are a few of the ones I kept, and I really enjoyed making them, and I've been loving using them. So there's this one. I thought this one would be fun for Halloween. This is a patriotic one. Yeah, I really did enjoy making these, so it's really fun. That one, I liked ones with polka dots, a red polka dot one. This is like a neutral everyday kind of wearing one, and then this one is fun. So yeah, and then I have this bottle of face mist, and I just stick them on there, like, then I can access the ones I wanted to wear. So yeah, these are my hair scrunchies that I made. So those are my 2 sewing projects. So then I'll go to stash. I got the 2022 Cross Stitch Ornament Edition. There are a couple really cute patterns. I really like this reindeer one. I think that's so cute. No, naughty. There's just some really cute ones. This little apron, this one down here. I love this one. I think these trees and the boxes are cute. But yeah, so I got that. I am doing an ornament exchange with some friends this year, and so I need to pick out one of those. I don't know if I'm going to pick one out from this one. I brought out the ones from past years too, because I don't recall seeing one that I thought really super suited the person I have. So I'm gonna look through. I can't find my 2019 edition. I don't know where it went to. My first one is 2018. Then I have 2020, 2021, and 2022. So where's 2019? Don't know. But anyway, so I'll go through those, find something, and make it for her. At Joann's, I found these two fabrics, and I only got like a yard or so at first, and then she rang up the price, and it was like $3 a yard or something like that. It was on clearance, and so I got a ton more, and so I'm gonna make project bags for these. Probably put them on Etsy. I mean, I haven't sold project bags in quite a while. Might use some as giveaways, because I've been real bad about that. Look at this knitting one. I still owe people giveaway stuff. It's just been such a crazy year, honestly, with my uncle passing, getting sick, dogs, puppies. It's just been a really crazy year. And so I feel bad that I have not done my obligations, but I will get those out to people. And if you are one of those recipients, I really am sorry. You will be getting a bag and extra goodies because I am sorry. I got the Frosted Pumpkin Snow Globe collection. I got the kit from them. And so I really am excited to work on these. I wanted to have started them, but when the first pattern came out, I was sick. And so now a second pattern's already out, and I'm like behind schedule. So the next thing I wanted to show you is that I coffee tea dyed more fabric. And I wanted to see what it would be like if I used just rooibos tea. That's Red Bush South African tea. And it came out this nice golden, a bit more orangey color. And I really like that. Then this one was just coffee. And I think I put in 2 bags of Irish breakfast or something like that. So, I mean, you can see the color difference here. This is definitely more brown, and this is definitely a more orange. This one was darker and definitely more mottled, but I thought that I would try to tone down the mottling by rinsing it a bit. Big mistake. It took out like all of the mottling and most of the color. So I'm glad I did not try to rinse after that. And then this one, I was trying to do raspberry tea because it always has that nice color in the cup. It was not taking up that nice color. So then I put it in with the coffee. After I'd put the coffee fabric into the oven, I put this one in for like 5 to 10 minutes. And so it got darker. And so they are all 3 different. These 2 look a lot alike, but this one is darker, this one's lighter, and then I've got this nice orangey color. And so I'm really excited to have more just like nicely colored fabric to work on some projects. I haven't been doing a ton of cross stitch lately. I'm kind of missing cross stitch, so hoping to get back on that bandwagon again. the last thing I want to show you of stash enhancements is, I'm just looking at my list to make sure. Yeah, this is the last one. Is an advent. So if you followed my Vlogmas last year, I did a cross stitch advent that had just a small amount of stitches every single day, and it was a mystery design. And so the day this dropped, I ordered it. I even messaged this lady to make sure she was still doing one. I was like, I did it last year, I love it, I just want to know if you're doing it again. It's pretty affordable, like $30-ish for the kit, and on Etsy. I hope she still has some. If she does, I really cannot recommend this enough. It is such a great advent project because it requires so little time every day. This one is different than the previous years. Last year, if you followed along with me, every day was in its own little thing, own little bag, and it had the floss with it for that day, and it was like that. It is different this time, and I will show you how. So she had it nicely tied up. I'm gonna untie that so I can show you guys. This isn't gonna reveal the pattern or anything like that. So then it comes in the box. It's nicely padded. You're able to store everything in this box that you're gonna need for the whole thing. So this is what it looks like when you open the box. So you've got your fabric, you've got a needle on there. Last time she also did do a grid around it, and I wish that she had again because I'm worried about lining it up perfectly in the center, but it's fine. It's fine. I don't need to be a perfectionist. I can eyeball it. But yeah, so that's what that looks like. And the needle's included. I did get the needle minder, and I'm gonna leave it wrapped up. I do know what it looks like because she included a little picture, but yeah, so there's a needle minder in there. Her business card, I'm not gonna show that too much because there's a discount code on there. So instead of the colors being a mystery this time, she did include them all, so you know the color palette. And that's very Christmassy. I wonder if it's a Christmas tree? I don't know. Probably shouldn't start guessing from the very beginning. But I want to. I want to guess. And a backing so that when you're done you can back it, your ends won't show. And then this is the main way that it's different. Instead of it being individual things, she created a deck with them in it. Now I have real mixed feelings about this, and let me tell you why. I'm a known cheater. I'm a peeker. I'm a sneaky sneak. I am really bad at resisting temptation and not looking ahead. And I was able to do it last year because they were all individual, and I forced myself to not look. But having them not individual, like just as a deck, where you could even accidentally look without meaning to, is gonna make this a lot more difficult. She did do all the artwork on the cards, and I think each card is a different art. So that is really cool. And you're able to pass this along for someone else to do in a future year and things like that. So I do appreciate that. And she put in a lot more work. I'm just worried about my own sneakiness. Yeah, I wish that maybe it had included a little bag that would fit the whole deck in it. Maybe I'll look for that myself. Something around this size that you can just take the top card out and not sneaky peek. I'm just really worried I'm gonna sneak, okay? I'll be honest. I've looked at some past yarn advents and looked at their whole yarn colors and then put them back in the bag, okay? Like, I am not good at mysteries. So I am worried about that. But this is really professionally well done. And this year, she even included, she made a whole little pamphlet. So it's really professional looking. Like, this is the kind of quality you might expect to find in a kit that you buy at the store. And so if you are wanting to do, oh look, wait, would this fit? No, it's just too big. Oh, I was like, this was sitting on my desk, but it's just a little bit too big. The cards, not the tin. The tin's a little bit too small. Yeah, so if you are wanting to do an advent, a cross stitch advent, that is fun. It is not time consuming or time demanding, and you're able to stay caught up and is also affordable. I really, really cannot recommend this one enough. I will include the link. You can follow her on Instagram at thathowtogirl and really check it out. So yeah, I'm so excited to have gotten my first advent. And now I will not peek again until it is December 1st. Oh my, I cannot wait for Christmas. Okay, so the last video I did was about shopping for Christmas advents, right? So this will segue, I guess, into the yarn section. So I ended up getting another couple of yarn advents. So I had originally, when I was filming that one, just gotten the Lord of the Rings one from Phoebe and Mercy in Germany. And that was it. Shortly after that, the person that I do the Harry Potter Yarn Club through announced that she was doing a Harry Potter advent. And I have been in her Harry Potter Yarn Club for, I mean, years. 3, maybe 4 years. And she didn't do the Harry Potter one last year. And I don't think she did it the year before that. Okay, sorry, my dogs are barking. So I don't think she did one the year before that. But she did one before that. But I didn't like the project I started, so actually I frogged that one this year. But anyways, her Harry Potter yarn colorways have just really improved over the last couple of years. And so I couldn't say no to that one, so I didn't. And I got that one. And then I also ended up getting the Canon hand-dyed A Court of Thorns and Roses, because I looked up it was supposed to be inspired by the sky, and I've not read this book series. So I started the first book. I read the first book after, and I'd read half of the second book after I bought this kit. But the picture inspired, like the fan art of this night sky, that is what she is basing the advent on, were gorgeous. Like, the colors I love. And I know that this dyer does quality dye jobs and really good fades. And so I ended up splurging and getting that. I'm trying to remember if, I think I did, if I got it on a sparkly base, because I was like, sparkly night sky. I don't know. Maybe I'm having a little bit of regrets about getting on the sparkly base, but I always second guess myself there. I don't know why. But, so yeah, I have 3 advents. And then the other thing I did was, I got another sock, like a sock stripe a day one. And the reason I ended up getting this one is because when I was reading the like description for the product, the way that this one goes is they are already pre-wound, so you're not gonna spoil it for yourself when you're winding your skeins. And then the other thing they do is between each color there is a section of like cream or white, like a filler, so that you don't spoil the next day's color. And I thought that was so really cool. So I'm really excited for this one. So I have 2 sock ones and 3 yarn ones, but that's okay, because last time I had 4 yarn ones, so I'm down 1, and I don't have the quilting one, I don't have the Under the Sea Fabrics one, so I've still pared down some, and I'm, for Christmas gifts for the girls in our family, I put together an advent, a tea advent, and so I might get like either David's or Plum Deluxe, but last time I had 4. I had 2 from Plum Deluxe, 1 from Martha, and 1 from David's, and so that was definitely way too many. And Martha's was my favorite. Like, her tea was excellent. And so if I get from Plum Deluxe, which I might because I just always get from Plum Deluxe, it's not gonna be 2, it's only gonna be 1. And I might get from David's. I'm still undecided about that, but so we'll see. Yeah, I'm not gonna get the Walker cookie one again, so definitely way less advents. So yeah, so the advent section has now segued into the knitting and crochet. Let me just take a sip here. Okay, so I actually have quite a few finishes to share with you in this knitting and crochet one. One of the first finishes is this ginormous doily that I made. I think I knit this all in the month of June. It ended up being way larger than I was anticipating, but I love it so much. Like, seriously, I was probably anticipating a doily about this big. I mean, the pattern told me it was going to be 13 inches, and this is not 13 inches. So it is way larger, but I really do love it so much. It's made me want to do more doilies. I had this, the yarn that you use specifically for doilies. I had already had that in my stash, so that was really nice. But yeah, so I love doing that. During all the stuff with the passing of the Queen, I started a cowl called the Owl Cowl for my husband, and I finished it in that time period. So this is intended as a birthday present for him. His birthday is in November, so I've actually finished a present for him for a change. And this is what it looks like. I took 2 fades, a black and a navy one, and I knit them, so I knit the one from the black, so from the darkest color going to the lightest, and the other one I started with the lightest going towards the darkest. And so I love this so much. If he doesn't wear it, I will definitely be stealing it. Let me put this on real quick. And So this is how it looks. And this was such a simple pattern. It went so fast. I definitely will make one of these again. The pattern actually doesn't call for 2 fade gradients. It actually calls for 1 solid color and then 5 or 6 mini skeins. I think actually 6. And then so you stripe it the main color and then the minis in between each one. Anyway, so this is what I did for that, and he's already seen it because he was way more up in my business than he normally is. I think he was suspicious I was making him something. And he goes, well, I'm already cold. I need it now. And I said, you have to wait for your birthday. And also, if you think it's cold now, you're going to suffer this whole season. So, I used less than half of each of the mini skeins. And so, I have all the rest of them. Oh, there's too much glare on this bag. But I have all the rest of them in here. And what I'm kind of hoping to do is to make like matching socks using the same color order. And so I'll do the heel or the cuff in this one and then the toe in this one, or vice versa. And then I've got a dark gray mini skein over there that I'll use for the heel so that I'll be able to maintain the same colorway all the way down. But I kind of need to do the math about how many rows per color to make sure I'm ending where I want to end, like having it even, not having the sock end up being too big or too small. And so that is a problem for future Kate to deal with. And I will probably try to do that maybe next month. I'm also trying to decide, am I making the socks for him or am I making them for me? Because if I'm making them for him, I want to do it next month to get them done for his birthday. If I'm making them for me, which selfishly I want to, then it doesn't matter when I do it. So we will see what happens with that. But I am really pleased with how this turned out. I finished 3 more tiny socks. If I'm gonna finish this for this year's Advent season, I really need to get working on these and do more of them, because I think I've only done 5 or 6, maybe 6, and I need to do 25, so there is a lot to be done. So there are those. I did 7 more little tiny Battenberg squares, so I'll try to zoom in on them so you can see the colors. This one, this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, and this one. You probably weren't able to tell, but those are all with the sparkly thread, and they're really pretty. I made a few more dishcloths. So this is one that is, okay. So I decided to follow, so this is a stripey from Peaches and Cream. The colorway is Spring Blue Stripes. It's the band. So inside there is a free pattern. This one is called Easy Texture Crochet. The note here says 1 ball makes 2 dishcloths. This is a major lie, okay? I think it should have said 2 balls to make 1 dishcloth, because this is clearly not, it's meant to actually be bigger, but I ran out of yarn. I mean, maybe if you can, it's not the shape that it's meant to be. First I think they had you chain too many stitches. They had you chain 44. Most of the crochet dishcloths I do, I chain like 29. So that's already 15 more than normal. So I would really want to make this pattern again because it's a nice pattern. It's hard to tell, but these are bumps. And so it's got like a nice texture, perfect for washing dishes, but it's just too wide. And yeah. And so if I were to make this again, which I want to, I would decrease the number of cast on chains. Yeah, that's just what I would do. So yeah, this is 1 dishcloth. Then I decided I wanted to do an experiment and use the same yarn and do one in the standard crochet pattern I do, which is this. And I do love how that looks. And then I also wanted to do one knit. And isn't it crazy how the same skein of yarn, 1 knit, 1 crochet, creates 2 completely different looking dishcloths. So that was a really fun experiment. I enjoyed doing that, and I want to do that with more of my yarn. Then I did another one, and again, my standard crochet one. This is my brainless pattern. I can whip it out. I don't need to think about it. It's just super easy. And then my mom asked me while she was here to teach her Tunisian crochet, and because I used to make Tunisian crochet washcloths, and that's what I would give them. And she says they're the ones that hold up the best. So I made one with her. Well, we both made them separately, but we sat down together and made it. And I used a Christmas yarn. And I just really do love how the Tunisian ones look. They're 2 completely different. The way they come out, because of the Tunisian crochet, just makes both sides so different. And I love it. So now I want to make more Tunisian crochet. And in the like delusional part of my brain that exists, I get these like grandiose ideas in my head that are just like not reality. But in my head, I'm like, you should order 3 orders of the Dishy value pack where it's 1 skein of each color. You should do 3 of those, and then with each of the colorways you could make 1 of all of them in the Tunisian, and 1 of all of them in the crochet, and 1 of all of them in the knit, and then you could have all of the colorways and all of the stitching kind. And I'm like, I have to tell myself, hey, tone it down, girl, you're kind of delusional sometimes. And where would you even put all that yarn? But I'm not also gonna say I didn't go to the website and stick 3 of them into the cart and just left them there. I didn't buy them. I just put them there, you know, to think about. So the next thing I did then is my container of cotton yarns was getting to the point where it was almost overfilled. And so what I do when it reaches that point is I take each of them and I weigh it and see what I can make face scrubbies out of. So if I know if it's 8 grams or more, I can make a face scrubby out of it. And if it's not, then it's too small for that. So I went through and I made a ton of face scrubbies to get the quantity down, and so now it's only at like the 1/3 level. And so next time it reaches that level, I'll do it again, and then I will make a truly hideous scrappy dishcloth with all of the leftover bits, where I will just tie the ends together using the magic knot and just make a couple really scrappy, ugly looking washcloths, and it is what it is. But so there's this one, and this one, and this one, and this one. These also actually make good coasters. They're the perfect size for coasters. I have 2 of that. I have 2 orange ones, which make me like ginormous earrings. I have another blue one. Oh, this one. I really liked the dishcloth I made in the spring in this color, and I need to get more of that one. I think I got it at Hobby Lobby, maybe, I don't know. With the leftover Christmas one, I was able to get 3. And I love how these ones turned out. The coloring isn't as blocky as it is on some of them. It was definitely looks random and festive. I think if I were to get another skein of that one and make some more of these, it would make really cute coasters for the Christmas season. Maybe like make 1 more washcloth, then I'll have 2 Christmas washcloths and 6 coasters. I think that could be really cute. And I got this one at Hobby Lobby, the Crafter's Secret Cotton, and it's called I Love Christmas. So might need to get another one of those. And then 2 of these ones. So that's quite a few face scrubs or coasters. I gave the last set that I gave all the dishcloths I had stored up and all of the face scrubbies I had stored up, I gave them to my sister, who just moved back here. So, so now it's time to stockpile again for the next time I just dump a bunch of someone. Okay, my next finish is this scarf, which took me 2 or 3 days to do. And this is using Red Heart Boutique Unforgettable. And the colorway is Teal Berry. And I've had this yarn in my stash for a number of years, 4 or 5 at least, because I had it before we got married. And it just makes this really nice scarf. I use the whole skein. You can make it a little shorter if you want, or you can make it, you can do whatever you want. But so this is about the length that you'll get if you use the whole skein. So dingles down just a little bit more. And I think that's a pretty nice length if you want to double it up, I guess. We just don't really get that cold here, but here it is doubled up. Anyways, so I made this scarf, and the reason I made this scarf is my cousin's wife was diagnosed with breast cancer early this summer, and she has been receiving chemotherapy treatments, and she wanted to make a scarf for each of the people in her chemo group. And so I offered to help her make some scarves. So I've only finished this one, and actually I need to get it mailed to her. But I did start another one, same pattern, and it took me about 15 minutes to do this much. Let's see, if I put it against myself, you can see the color a bit better. So this is a really quick pattern to make, really fast. This is the ball, and then I have a third one that I hope to be able to do. So I'm hoping that I can mail it at the beginning of next month, so in about a week, and I'm hoping that that is okay with her time frame, and that she still needs them, because if not, then I will find another use. But working on this and how quick it was and fast and fun made me think about making some of these as Christmas gifts. So I'm thinking the next time I go to Joann's or Michael's, I will look for some more of this yarn, the Boutique Unforgettable, and buy some more, and then give them to a few ladies at church as Christmas presents. So with the tiny bit that I had left, I started a scrappy granny blanket. And so as I finish with more of the Red Heart boutiques, I'll just keep adding to it. And yeah, just there is that. Okay. I worked a little bit on my Tudor Advent. This is called Dust of Snow, and I did 1 or 2 colors, and so I clearly need to do a lot more work on it, but I'm really happy with how it's looking, and it feels so soft, and so need to work more on it. This project is worked holding a strand of mohair with the color. So right now it's a green color, and that's what it looks like. But when you hold it double with the mohair, it really tones it down and helps it blend in. And so that's one thing that is really helpful with some advents, some yarn advents, if you're trying not to get everything to like flow together better. So put that down there. I'm just gonna cross a few things off my list to make sure that everything gets talked about. So 2 projects that I finished and don't have physically with me, so I'll try to remember to put in pictures if I can find them, is I made a pair of socks for my nephew Hayden. These are ones that I'd actually started for my sister Kirsten. However, when she got here and tried them on, they were too small. I thought because she has really small feet that I would do the small size, but that was too small for her. Luckily, it fit my nephew perfectly, and so he got the socks that was intended for her. I'd only done like half of one sock, so I finished that sock and did the second one, and then she picked a different yarn, and I made a pair of socks for her, and so they didn't take the pictures staged after drying, so I only have it on her feet, but anyways, you'll get an idea of what it looks like. But she sent me a message the other day and said she wears them like every day, and so knowing the size that fits her and what is a good fit for her foot, I'm hoping to make her another pair of socks really soon. And also my nephew requested another pair of socks. So of course, when someone likes something that you do and they actually use them, it makes you really want to make things for them. And so I will be looking to make them some socks, some more socks when I get a chance. The final finish, no, I just didn't cross that off. Okay. So a couple whips that were not finishes. I pulled this one out to work for one of my whip go squares. This is called the Virus Afghan, and this is a gradient cake, so that's what it looks like. And I had forgotten how much I really do love this pattern. It's so easy, repetitive, kind of brainless, and since I've been knitting so much, I forgot about how much I do actually love to crochet. And so it's been nice to do some more crochet projects lately and to get back to the yarn craft that actually I loved first. And so this is the Virus Afghan. So one of the projects I do with my scrap yarn is called the Coziest Memory Blanket. And this is what it looks like. This is my newest square on it. And this month I need to do 5 squares for one of my classes. So I finished this one. I still have 4 more to do. So I'm almost halfway done with one. And I thought I would show you guys so you can kind of see how it's made. So you cast, oops, my little, okay. You cast on stitches and then you pick up stitches for the edge pieces. In the subsequent ones, I will just be picking up. So 23 from here and then 23 from here. And what you do is you decrease at the corner, and that's how it forms a square. So the whole time you're just knitting straight, but every other, when you're going in one direction, you decrease on either side of the stitch marker that's in the middle, and it forms a square. So that's what I'm working on. I will be working on this while editing the video, probably that or a dishcloth. And so this is from a pair of socks I finished in the spring. This is from my Hobbit socks that I did last year. This is from a pair of socks I made for my sister Alex, like a Hufflepuff color. And this is the yarn I did for my sister Kirsten's socks, so you can see that it's real crazy yarn. It's called Beach Ball. And so those are the colors that I'm going to be adding to my Coziest Memory. And I only have a couple of days to finish doing those. So next I have the Sweetheart socks, which are from my mom. So I had done the foot and the heel, and I was like over here, I think, maybe even a little higher up, when I picked these up to work on again. So I've clearly finished one. While I was working on this, I noticed I made a big mistake on the heel, and it was like I noticed it after I cast off, like, and finished it all the way. And that is, I just did stockinette on the heel flap. Like normally, oh, I don't have another sock here to show. Oh, wait, actually, yes, I do. So normally when you're doing a heel flap, it looks like this. And it's like, kind of looks ribby, right? Can you see the difference here? Ribby, not ribby. So when doing this next sock, I need to remember that I made that mistake to be able to repeat the mistake. I honestly, I don't know how I made that mistake, what I was thinking, if I was thinking, but so I still have to make the second sock. My parents indicate they might be coming back at Christmas time to spend the first Christmas that my sister has not been at home with her. So I hope to finish this by Christmas time. Paul Mitchell doesn't really give Christmas breaks. She gets like Christmas Day off and that's about it. So she can't go to them, so hopefully they'll come here and then I get to see them again. The final project I have to share, which I left on the wrong side of this table, is I started a cardigan, which is my very first sweater cardigan garment ever. And naturally I had to pick a ridiculously hard project to do it on. So this is called the Botanist, and it is full of cables. So the first thing I did was I made all the swatches it told you to make, which is like 7. It took over a skein of yarn just to do the swatches. So this is a reverse stockinette swatch. This one is the back cable swatch. I hope that's showing the cables. I think this, like that, kind of showed them the best. Let's see, what is this? Seed stitch swatch. Arm swatch. So this will be the pattern that will go down the arm. So swatch for that. Then this is, one of these is the left and one is the right for the front panels. For like the front. So it goes, what way does it go? I think it goes like this and like this, I think. I don't know. Of the sweater. So all of these swatches took me freaking forever to do, like a really long time. But I am still glad that I did it because it got me familiar with the cables. And there's 1 or 2 spots where I messed up on my swatch because I did the wrong cable. And so it just taught me the cables. There's like 12 different cables in here. And got me familiar with doing the things and all that kind of thing. So I am glad that I did it. However, to finish this by the deadline for the Harry Potter knitting and crochet thing, I need to finish it by the end of November, and that is going to take a small miracle. I cast on and completed the rib. I think this took me a day and a half to do about. So this is the whole rib. There are cables there, a little bit. It's really hard to show it. This yarn obscures the things a bit. It's really pretty in person. But anyways, so I'm now at the point where I have to start the body of the body of the cardigan. And the different cable sections is split across 3 different charts, which are on 3 different pages. And it's reading things like work 43 stitches according to chart A. Chart A, row 1. Slip marker. Then do this. Slip marker. Work 87 stitches according to chart B. Slip marker. Do this. Then work 43 sections according to chart C. I think what I'm going to do is take index cards and write out each of the rows. This is a 26 row repeat, and when you're going in one direction, you're going charts 1 through C with the different things in the middle. I think it's seed stitch, probably. When you're working the even numbers, you're going C, B, A, or 3, 2, 1. so you have to remember to go in the reverse option. And I think the easiest thing for me will be literally to just write it out on index cards and then just be able to flip it and keep track like that. So trying to decide, because otherwise I have to have them all laid out in front of me. I can't knit anywhere but at this table. Have to hope that the fan doesn't blow them or the dogs don't distract me or anything like that. So I'm cautiously optimistic that I can finish this in time. I need to do 1 to 2 skeins, probably about 2 skeins a week in order to finish this. I think it's supposed to take me an estimated 16 skeins, although that's probably an overestimation because it usually gives you so much yarn extra for mistakes and stuff like that. And then also, I'm not as tall as some people are, so I don't need to make it as long. Although I do prefer a sweater that goes a little bit longer, so who knows. But I'm hopeful I can finish it in time because I don't want this to waste away in whipland. But we'll see what happens. I am using Knit Picks Wool of the Andes worsted weight, and this is a color called Garnet Heather. That's what it looks like. It's really pretty. I got 50 skeins of this because I want to make my husband and I matching sweaters. So for me, mine's a cardigan, and he'll have a different pattern, probably not a cardigan. I think my mom's gonna make him a cardigan, so I'm gonna make him a sweater. And so have them be the same color, but not the same pattern. And so yeah, I'd like to have those for next winter completed, and if there's enough yarn left over, might be able to make little dog sweaters possibly. I think that would be cool. And then have a family photo of us, the dogs, and the dog sweaters. So yeah, that is the botanist cardigan. That's how far I've gotten. I am almost done with the first skein. I've only got a few grams left in it. So, yeah. So there's that. Okay, so now plans. Oh my gosh, this is such a long video. I'm sorry. So my sister Johanna had previously picked out a yarn and a pattern. And I think it didn't really have ribbing in it. This is all I've done on it. I'm actually gonna, I might as well pull it out on this video, get myself to do it. Because I just think this is too large, and it's gonna be, there's no ribbing or anything to hold it up. And I just don't think that it's a good fit. So while she was here visiting, I had her pick out something else, a different pattern, and then she saw my self-striping yarn, and she decided she wanted self-striping, and so she picked a new skein. I haven't started a project yet. Okay. Whew, I did it. Sometimes I just have to force myself to do these things on camera because otherwise I put off doing it and don't do it. So I've now reclaimed this yarn for my stash, which is kind of fine because I loved it really a lot and didn't want her to have it anyways, but but she wanted it at the time. So, reclaimed it. It is a mess, needs to be completely rewound. I might wind it into a ball, as that's what I like to do these days. But I will find another beautiful use for this yarn and make her socks. So I already caked up what she picked, and she picked one called Central Perk from Desert Vista Dye Works. And this is what it looks like in that. What happened is she tried on my Hobbit socks, and it was a perfect fit for her. And so that made her decide she wanted self-striping. She wanted the same pattern, the same number of stitches and everything. And so she picked this one. And so I will make that for her, and I will try to get it done by Christmas so that I can get that mailed to her. So I need to be able to fit this into classes in the next month or two. Otherwise, I have to try to fit it in while Advent knitting, and that almost never happens. But so there is that. That is one plan for the next short bit. Sorry, just finishing this unravel. And that also means I get to claim back my Slytherin bag. I really love this one. And I have hers in this I got at Michael's actually, and I think it was on clearance. It was like a really good sale, so it's a good size for single skein projects or for dishcloths. So if you happen to be in Michael's and look in the yarn section, and you might be able to find some. I have, I think, 4 of them now. Okay, and that's done. Now I need to remember to go on Ravelry and put that project as frogged. Okay, so that's Johanna's socks. I already talked about the Island Waves. That's the scarf. I want to finish half the cardigan by the end of October. Okay, Stephen West. Every October, sorry. Every October, Stephen West does a mystery knit along for a shawl. And these things are ginormous. And so, was I actually dithering about whether I was going to join? I don't know. Maybe. But of course, I have FOMO, and so I joined. And I bought a Shire-based kit for mine. It is not here yet. It's not even shipped yet, and the knit along starts in a week, so I'm getting a little anxious. But the dyer said on Instagram that they will start shipping today and then ship every day this week. And so I should have it, fingers crossed, in time so that I'm able to cake it up. I do wish that it had gone out sooner, but it is what it is. And I am hoping to stay caught up this year. I've never managed to get past part 1 of my previous 3. And so here's to hoping that I can stay caught up. I also need to steal needles from another project to be able to do this. I think that I'm going to be using, these are square needles, and they're supposed to be more ergonomic for your hands. And so I am hoping to, and I started using this on my project last year, different size. So I'm gonna steal them from that project and put those on stitch holder and come back to them at some other date. But that I still need to do that. So I'm really hoping that yarn shows up soon so that I can cake it up. It's 5 skeins, and that's going to take a while to cake up. I am enjoying using balls instead of cakes these days. I think that there's less twists in my yarn when I'm sorry, I'm still getting over that cough, and this is the mild cough. Wow, when a sip makes it worse. Sorry. So, yeah, when I'm knitting and it's in a cake, frequently like twists get into it, and then I have to like drop the project to get the twist to come out. But when I'm knitting in a ball, I don't find this happens as much. So I'm probably going to want to ball up those skeins, which for me means winding them into a cake and then from a cake into a ball. And so I need to be able to have time to do that. And so I'm really hoping they come soon. It starts on October 6th. So that's coming up. I will pop a picture in of what the kit preview picture looks like. It's just color samples. It's not dyed yarn yet. So I'm also a little bit nervous about how it's gonna look. This is a dyer that I have. It's Fangirl Fibers, so she's the one I did the Gilmore Girls advent with, and I have been getting the Gilmore Girls yarn club. I did just cancel that yarn club because I joined a Harry Potter self-striping yarn club, and I just wanted to try something else for a little bit. I've been getting the Gilmore Girl one on DK weight, and I'm just not a DK weight knitter, and so I haven't been using it, to be honest, and so I needed something. Well, I didn't need, but anyway, so I decided to do that, and then yeah, so that is what's going on with that. I do need to do another washcloth this week before the end of the month for a class. I need to finish those 5 coziest memory squares. So I've done 1.5. I need to do 3.5 more for a class. Get those entered, and I should be good with classes for the month. So in the Harry Potter knitting and crochet school, there are 2 large projects that happen every term. It's called a whip. Nope, it's not called a whip. It's called a mission and an owl. They also have newts, which I think is year-long projects, and then dragons, which I'm not even familiar with yet. But anyway, so this time for the mission, they said that you could do works in progress as long as you get them finished. And so I was really grateful for that because I have a lot of works in progress that need finishing. And one of the prompts was like 700 yards. So I decided to do 700 yards in fingering weight on projects I have started. And so I have a bunch of socks started that I really need to get done. And so I'm using this for my motivation for that. So, for example, I have 2 advent stripes in the same one. So this is from last year's yarn advent. And so I really need to get these ones done because advent is coming up and I don't want these hanging over my head. And so what I'll need to do is weigh them to determine their starting weight. And then when I finish them, I will weigh them again, and then I will do the math to figure out how much yarn they took, like the yards. And I mean, this is probably going to be about 100 yards, maybe 100 yards. So I mean, there's a substantial amount for finishing. So that's one project. Then there's the prior year's advent socks, and this is where I got to, and I am now at the cuff. So I need to do the cuff and then the feet for these. Sorry. So that's where I'm at on these. Also probably maybe 150 yards for this. I don't know. I'm not good at guessing at this point. But so that would take me to about 250, 300. I have a Halloween, is this where the Halloween on? Yeah, a Halloween sock that needs to be finished. So probably about another 100 yards. So that puts me about 400. I do have this project that I started for another mission and didn't finish, so I can finish this. It's it's really pretty. It's gotten pretty repetitive, so I haven't worked on this in a while, but I do think when I finish it's gonna look so nice, so I really would like to finish that. And if I still need some more yards at the end of that, I have, or instead of doing that one if necessary, I have the socks I started for my dad. But I am partway tempted, I don't know, to pull them out, but no, I can't do that. That's ridiculous. So my dad would like these to be another 3 inches from here. This is where I started them at, well, from where I measured them on him. So another 3 inches to the heel, then to do the heel, and then to do the foot. My dad has large, wide feet. And so, yeah. So that is my mission plan, and I need to finish that by mid-November. So that's a lot of sock knitting to finish by mid-November. But to add on to that, because, you know, socks, I guess, is there's an event started by the Bakery Bears called Sockoween, and I think it starts on the 1st of October. And you have to knit Halloween like socks. And so I went through my past Halloween yarns from the Harry Potter Club. And I've been wanting to use this one. I think it was from last year. And it's called Pumpkin Juice. And I think that this would make a really cool pair of socks. So I just need to pick a pattern now, decide which one I'm going to do, and then hope to make this pair of socks in October, fit that into a class or 2. So I need to get this wound up and pattern picked and printed. I do prefer to work on paper patterns. So yeah, need to do that. And that is basically all of my plans at this moment. If you stuck around, I don't even have any clue how long this video is. I'm guessing 2.5 hours maybe. I don't know. If you stuck along this long, well done, trooper. And if not, I totally understand. So I will catch up with you guys hopefully really soon. The reason these videos are long is because I procrastinate on making them. So I'm hoping to get back to a every week or every other week type of schedule. It's just been a really intense summer and year, basically. It's been long and hard. So I will talk to you guys soon, hopefully in a shorter video, and thank you for watching. Bye.